Thank you all for tuning in. This is As Deep as It Gets, and I'm your host, DPasz. Go deep! Hey everybody, how's it going? Dean here. First and foremost, I just want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who reached out about my new podcast and took the time to view any and all content. I support all the messages and feedback, and it means so much to me as I start this new journey. I truly appreciate every one of you being part of this adventure I'm on, and I want you all to stay tuned for new episodes, and I'm grateful to have you along for the ride. So I appreciate you and all your support. I want you to know that, because this isn't as maybe easy as it looks, and I'm learning that. There's been a lot of little things that I had no idea about, but it's sort of a learn as you go process, and I won't lie, I'm really excited about it all, but it's also sort of scary. So just bear with me with that in mind, and again, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. So today is August 16th, and August 16th has always been a pretty tough day. And many of you know the reason for that. And that's because in 2008, many of you know and were around and were there for the tragic accident that happened with Devron, and she was one of my best friends, and it was definitely one of the worst days of my life, the day I found out she passed away. So the 16th of August is always tough, and last year just happened to be Patrick's Scramble fell on this date, and we all had a really good time, and I actually woke up late for the scramble, because to be quite honest, I was crying at Devron's grave the night before with my grandmother. I made her take me there. So it's always been a very sad day for me, but it's also a day that reminds me to cherish the life that I've been given and live it to the fullest with God's will in mind, and to help others and be good, because not every day is promised. And I want you all to cherish each day if you watch this, and I want you all to take in the little moments and try not to get upset about the small things, because life is really, really fragile. And I actually last August 16th, 2024, I had actually recently just got through a breakup this time last year, and Patrick told me I was going to get to play on his team. And I was so excited. Me and my cousin Sal, we were going to be on Pat's team this year, and we were so excited, but I got, again, alcohol led me down a bad road, and I ended up not making the tee time on time, but I showed up about the fourth hole, and I that's not the first time that's happened to me, oddly enough. But again, alcohol, that's why I've had to nix it, because it hasn't ever really led me to anywhere good, or yeah. But anyway, I did get to play 14 holes with Pat, and darn was he good. He was really good, and that was really the only time I really played golf with him right next to him, and I'm so thankful for that. I really am. I'm so thankful for last year. But I was in Bridge Park today, and I try to go down there every Saturday because they have a little farmer's market. Every Saturday I don't go golfing or do something with the fellas, but I was actually down there today with my mom and grandma, who were in town just for the weekend, and I ran into Carly Boner, a Shadyside Lady Tiger great, and her husband Pete, along with her mother, who was my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Boner. And Mrs. Boner, I was never, great in math class. I could get by with the basics. It was once we started to get into algebra and algebra 2 that I begin to fail. Once you start mixing 2 letters with 2 numbers, count me out. That's about where I started to drift off. Geometry I liked, though. Shout out Coach Fleming. But anyway, back to Miss Boner. There was always something that you couldn't say in her class, and that was, that's not fair, or life's not fair, or it's not fair. Miss Boner didn't like that, and she had a story about a drunk driving accident, and where it really wasn't fair to the other person. And I seen her today, and oddly, that's the first thing I thought of when I gave her a hug was, life's not always fair, Dean. You're going to be hit with some things in life where you just want to scream, and you want to be mad at the world, and you want to, it makes you upset, and looking up, questioning things, questioning what's right, what's wrong, what do I do? And at the core of us, I think we all know when we're making the right decision and when we're making the wrong decision. And it's very, very tough to decipher through that. And also, speaking back to Devron, I wanted to give a shout out to my classmate Emily Good for the short story on her perspective about that night in late July. It was really good and really well written, and I think everyone who it was shared with me in the group thread thought so too. And shout out to Emily. She's a really good writer, and I have much love for her, and I'm proud of her. And it was a really good read this morning, so I'm gonna try and link that in the description here for her. So go check that out too if you would. But anyway, Miss Boner, life's not fair, and that's a reality where sometimes we have to accept that bad things happen that don't feel fair to us, but it is all for a bigger picture. And as long as we're right with the man upstairs and we continue to do good things in life, then things will be okay. We have to keep that in mind. Don't let the hard moments in life and the unfair things veer you in a direction that isn't positive, because it's very easy. It's happened to me. It's very easy to let that happen, and I hope you guys try to stay straight about everything. On the right path, that is. Just stay on the straight and narrow, because it's very easy to get thrown off. So, this past week has been crazy. Obviously, you've seen if you're watching this, you may have tuned into the first 3 episodes of the podcast and seen me trying to do this last time. I feel like I've practiced a little bit and I've gotten a little bit better at it. So, like I said, this is a learning process and it's all kind of difficult. So just bear with me. I will try to get better. And to all those who reached out about potentially being on the pod, there's always a spot for you here. And I'm sort of mobile, so we could do it somewhere else. But the goal of this is to get as many unique perspectives as possible and all learn from one another and all kind of take from each other's journeys and try to blend it into something good and something we can remember and something we can show our family members and be proud of. That's the big thing. It's, we all have trials and tribulations we've gone through in life. Nobody's life is perfect. That doesn't exist. It would be boring if it did. So I kind of want to hear about everybody's, because I'm really not scared to share mine anymore. And it wasn't that I ever was. It was, I would say, though, fear was holding me back. And like I said, a lot has happened this week. And I just want to give a shout out to all the coworkers at FedEx. Uh, Kurt, Jimmy, Josh, Dakota, Rylan, Mike, Chris, Derek, Javante, Julio, Daly, Dervin, Rob, Malik, DeGary, Roger, Moulter, Isaiah, Casey, Puckett, Justin, Nick, and Doug. I just want you all to know that I love y'all, and make sure you use your vacation time. Y'all are the best. You know, it's been a tough week, but we're gonna bounce back. That's what we do. That's what I've done my whole life. That's kind of all I know. Is whenever life gets you down, there's two things you can do. You can get back up, or you can let life hold you there. But you get to pick. That's what's crazy. You get to pick what you're gonna do. And new chapters aren't always easy, but it's the journey that makes the man. So here we go. Speaking of teachers, 5th grade teachers, that is, I was thinking recently about the first time that I was truly humiliated. And it was at a flag football practice. My mom had parent-teacher conferences with my teacher, Miss Minger. And many of you, and Miss Minger liked me. Every time I see her, I give her a big hug now. She's the mother of 2 of my friends, Taylor and Heath, and Taylor's a classmate, and Heath was a grade below, and they're good people, but Miss Minger was tough on me. She's seen the creativeness in me, and she's seen the little bit of spark I had about English, but I could not keep myself organized for anything. It was a big struggle of mine. Maybe it was nature, maybe it was nurture, I don't know. I still struggle to be organized, although it's something I'm working on and I'm getting better at every day. I'm still not perfect by any means. Nobody is. And I thought about the first time I was truly humiliated. And it was in 5th grade, and I was at flag football practice. And my mom came down with my whole locker, which was just tossed full of papers and like trash and crumbled up papers and missed assignments and folders and books and all of these things. And she came down with a big trash bag to my flag football practice. And if I'd venture to guess, I'd say it was John and Prune coaching us, but you never know. It could have been Frank the Tank Klein or anyone. And my mom poured out that big trash bag full of my papers, and I was so humiliated. I wanted to cry. It was so embarrassing. To this day, it weighed on me, and it didn't make me any more organized. I wasn't any better in 6th grade. It just really tore my soul apart and made me feel so embarrassed. And I say that, which isn't their fault. They were just trying. I look back on that now, and I try to think, why would they do that? I wondered that when I was thinking about it yesterday. I said, why would they do that? Why would? And it was in hopes that I would get better. They were trying to figure out how to help me, and maybe embarrass them in front of all of us. Well, and I think we just didn't know that I was just a different kid at that point. I think that's probably when it was beginning to go, downhill. So, anyway, it actually did help me though, because that year, I believe after that, I received an award, and this is kind of the story I was trying to get to. I received an award, and it was the most improved student that year award. At the end, we had this awards banquet, and I don't know if I think I was just shy on a roll or something in 5th grade, but that was a turning point. And I remember getting the award, and Mr. Apicella, Larry Apicella, I got the award, went up and got it, and stupid me, I was always trying to make people laugh. That was always my thing, and always my avenue. I felt like to have friends was to be the comedian or try to make people laugh or to get people on my side. That was usually my move. And after I received the award, I took a bow. And this is stuck in my brain forever. Mr. Apicella grabbed a hold of me. I mean, not hard, but think he grabbed a hold of me, pulled me aside. He said, "You need to be humble and you need to be modest." And that stuck with me forever. After taking that bow, after getting that award, you need to be humble and you need to be modest. I think that's a really important lesson for young kids and, anyone, scoring a touchdown or hand the ball back to the ref, Just act like you've been there before, if you will. It was such a good lesson. And I remember at the time I was scared, but I often look back on my childhood and the things that happened and then realize that they were good lessons, even though at the time they felt scary or uneasy for me. So that it's important to be humble and it's important to be modest in all situations in life. It's okay to say you did something good once in a while, and it's okay to tell your friends the positive things in your life, but they need to be coming from a good place, And maybe Mr. Apicella didn't know I was trying to make just my friends laugh. Like, a lot of times that went over the teachers' heads, that I was more so conducting a show than I was trying to be ignorant or mean to anyone or ever. I was more so just playing in the water. Anyway, let's divert. We diverted there all right. Wow. I had a whole camera go down on me, and yeah, not real great. We just sort of about screwed the whole thing up there. So, yeah. Hold on, let me check my microphone. Don't want to be too loud, but don't want to be too soft either. Yeah, hopefully the quality's good. I don't know. Like I said, we're just figuring all this out. Anyway, next, I really just wanted to encourage you all to reach out to me on the YouTube page or by email with things you'd like me to talk about or see on the show, because honestly, I don't know where we're going, but I know we're going somewhere. So I want you guys' help in steering the ship here. I'm open to all inquiry and constructive criticism, which I've been getting a lot of from my close friends, which is fine. But again, base level here, trajectory is up. I'm going to get better, and that's the plan right now. It's just get 1% better every day, Kobe. So just little by little, keep chipping away at it. And I appreciate actually all of my friends' feedback and everything that they've had to say. It's been actually nothing really but good. I'm just kind of giving them a hard time for giving me a hard time, but they know it's all love. And also, you can reach me at DPasz, just like in the show, IG@gmail.com for any questions or inquiries or, hate mail, love mail, whatever. We're taking it all right now. It's no one's blocked. It's wide open. So Wild West out here. You come at me as you feel fit, and I'll be here to respond and get back to you. We're also in the market for some potential partnerships or advertising, but we're not there quite yet. But we hope to get there, and we're kind of eyeing some things up. Like I said, what's next for me is I'm going to be trying to post about 1 to 2 podcasts a week. I'm thinking at first. Sometimes you might get more or less depending on the guests that are available to me. The guest list currently is pretty much wide open as well. Like, I'm going to try to interview everyone from my graduating class. I don't know if I'll succeed with that, but one of my goals in doing this was to get everyone in my graduating class's best memory with Pat. And that was mainly a goal inspired for his Sebastian and Kiki, for his children, and his wife Serena. Just something I wanted to do for them while I'm doing this. And I think that's an achievable goal. I don't think I set the standards too high. And so, I mean everybody who's willing to come on, but, I really hope everyone is. And we got a pretty tight-knit group there. So I think it's not really anything to be scared of. It'd be much easier to actually talk to them than it would be for me to just ramble up here myself, I'm finding. So the more guests, the merrier, like I said. Anyway, um, I've been on a pretty strict workout regimen. I'm currently trying to like gain some weight, but I'll probably spend the rest of my day riding my bike or at the gym. And if anyone who, I don't know if this will release today, it might release tomorrow, but I'm going to try and put it out today. So if this evening anyone sees it, just get a hold of me, like I said, and we can talk about the podcast or whatever you want. I'm going to have a pretty boring Saturday because mom and grandma are here, but they're conking out for a nap, it seems, and it's going to leave me probably at the pool or whatever. You guys, I'm just rambling now, but that's not how I wanted this to end when my camera fell when I said we should divert. But I really don't have too much more for you today other than just thank you so much for all the support. You guys have no idea what it means to me, and it's just been an outpouring of love. And I just want everyone and anyone to know that this podcast is built on love. Love is the most important thing in my eyes, and sound like Lex Friedman, but really it is. The human connection and the struggle that the human condition, along with the human connection and the struggle that we all deal with each and every day, that is a trialsome thing, and I truly believe that the more that we can share and talk about the things that we're going through and just be real with one another, the easier it probably would be to get through them, if we all did that. And that's kind of my point in all this, truly, is to really to inspire and to even lead. I often worry about our youth, mainly because of the cell phones and things. And I often used to say that I feel that we grew up in the best place to be, people my age, people me and my friends' age, in that little like 4-year gap from the kids who graduated from like 2008 to 2012 there. They had the best parts of childhood with, you could even extend that probably into 2013 and maybe a year below, 2007, 2006, like all the way down to when, but it definitely, that brink, like I got an iPhone with a camera on it when I was like 16 or 17 years old, the same time I got my license. I got the internet in my hand and my license at the same time. Up until then, I had lived my whole life without the internet in my hand, having to get on a computer or some phones had internet, but I could text a little bit leading up to that point. But everyone knows the game changed when we all got the internet in our hand. That changed everything. Taking photos, sharing videos, sharing Facebook, sharing all the stuff. But that's when we really started to have this shift. And I think that this next shift that we're all going to experience is going to be kind of one that brings us even closer together. And I don't know exactly how or where that's heading. I don't know what kind of crazy AI tech Meta's coming up with and these metaverses. But I think it's important to teach and root our kids in the fundamental ways that, I was brought up in. I think it would be important just in case the grid or something does go down. I think it'd be important for society to, because I feel like in a lot of ways it might be gearing us towards too soft. And that's nothing against those kids. That's not their fault. I was a video game kid too. I loved playing video games growing up and even into adulthood. Had a serious problem a couple years ago. A year ago. But it's not the same, because that's all they know. I remember like being out in Shadyside till we didn't have to be home till 10 p.m. And we were like 11, 9 even, 10. Come home when the streetlights come on. We'd run back from the field. We'd be playing Fumblerooski all night in Donaldson Field, in which they built a house there now. It's a nice house, but they took our field. It's like, even, they say that about the countryside. They're building, man. Yeah, they built a house on our field. I wanted to put a plaque there one day. Donaldson Field, like that's home to there was a big rock pile in the middle. That was home to so many memories for me, Dylan, Colby, Tyler, a lot of us, Matt, Noah. So lot of football played in that little field there. Devin, uh, Pat, of course. Um, Josh, all of us over there on the west side. Tough neighborhood over there on the west side. Ellis, Dustin, Scotty, I mean, Heath. I mean, geez, how nice, how lucky to grow up like that. I sometimes I feel too blessed when I think about how I got brought up. I think that was meeting Colby and those guys and falling into the friend group that I did, and and me being there for them and them being there for me, and just our whole childhood experience. It's one that I am so thankful for, and I will forever just be grateful to God for, because it has been the best experience of my life being friends with those guys. And I think they know how much I care about them, but darn is it deep. It is deep. There's like, I don't know where I'd be without them. I know I've said that before, and I'll probably say that 100 more times on this thing. Whew. But anyway, guys, like I said, big love bomb to Shady Side there. I love that place. I love that place. But kids, get out and do something. Play some football. You know, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you are now. Maybe things have changed. I know COVID screwed my buddy Jaden up. You know, my intern. He told me as much. He said I got stuck in the house playing video games. He said it's not good. It was his idea. He said you need to tell the youth that they need to not be doing that. And I couldn't agree more with him. You know, he's about to come with me on a workout right now. So it's all good, man. One big shout out I do want to give, just because I thought about it, ads. I mean, he has an actual advertising agency, so not agent. I'm sorry. He has an incentive for advertising, so I'm just gonna go out here and throw it on the podcast. Anybody's looking for a bartender, Brando's bartender, Brandon Heath, best bartender this side of the Mississippi, hands down. I mean, there's no doubt. Love that guy. He'll make your time one that you just couldn't even believe. He's as professional as they get and as funny as they come. Big shout out to Brandon and Brando's bartending. If you talk to him and tell him you heard it on the pod, just let him know you could use him for your next event. So shout out Brandon. I was just thinking of that. It just came across my line. So anyway, I hope everyone has a good Saturday. Like I said, it's usually a tough day for me. And again, if you'd like to read Emily's view on that day, it's going to be down below and in the description. And she's a gem, and you know, one of the best and super creative. I actually want to touch base with her about some of these things on this podcast. She's been a sort of inspiration to me too, seeing all her creativity through the years, as many of you have. You know, I follow along with a lot of you guys' life. The social media allows us to do that. And, you know, I'm not too loud on there because I've sort of been loud my whole life. So I tried to lay low for a while. And I follow all your journeys. And there's a lot of things that you guys all do that inspire me. So keep up the good work, really. I'm a proud friend over here. And I just, again, if you have any questions or any ideas for the pod or anything that you'd like to see, trust me, I am trying to you will be seeing some of my friends on here coming up. Right now, I'm just trying to release content, not to leave you guys dry, but I also want it to be good, valuable content that you guys can listen to and, you know, take something from. So if there's a small hiatus, just know that more's on the way. We're not stopping. We're just getting started. And, expect at least, even if it's just me up here ranting for 30 minutes, expect about one podcast a week. And then sometimes you might get 2 or 3, depending on scheduling, or it might be 2. We don't know yet. Like I said, we're testing the waters. We decided, rather than trying to make everything perfect and maybe launching by Christmas we were just going to launch and just try to show you guys the building process and see how good we can get as we go. I figured that was like going to be the more fun and engaging way, is to kind of show people the struggle. The podcast was going to be about making a podcast, if you will. So that's kind of what it is. And I will need all of your help in doing that, through guests, through inquiries, ideas. And I just want you all to know, if you're watching this and you've ever had an ounce of love for me in your life, then I love you too. You guys are the reason I'm doing this, and the reason I finally decided to step out of my my hiding from social media and my hiding from, I guess, just fear in general. It's not, honestly, this past year, I've grown a lot. Like I said, the breakup last year, right at this time, I think it was a week after she would have just left and exited my life. That was the last time I seen her. I think, and then Pat in June this year, I think that all really propelled me to where I'm at, sitting in this chair right now, because I just realized how easy it is to lose the things that you love, and you better take advantage of, because I was in the mode that I was trying to build. I was like looking to build a family and probably not do this, and probably, and then she left. So then it was, okay, let's try to get as good as we possibly can for the next girl and improve in the job and get promoted and do all these things. So when you're ready for the next girl, and then, Patrick, and then it became more chase your dream, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try? And if you come up short, then you can go back to doing what you were doing before. It's not a really hard puzzle. It's more so I began taking life a little more seriously, and I realized that every day you wake up is a blessing, and you should try to use it to your fullest. Not beat yourself up too much when you aren't able to, when you fall short of, maybe your goals for that day was to go on a bike ride and lift weights, but that day you only lifted weights and you missed your bike ride. Or to not beat yourself up too much on those days, but just try not to miss your goals 2 days in a row. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. It's really hard to be perfect. It is gosh darn impossible. It actually is impossible. But I've seen close to it. So listen, guys, again, that's adpaszig@gmail.com for any inquiries or constructive criticism or things you'd like to talk about. I mean, I would like to have a segment where I actually take your questions and things you ask and I answer them here like once a week. That could make for a small weekly podcast from you all. And you could write in as anonymous, or you could write in as who you are, and I'll mention you on the podcast and shout you out. And if you have something you want to plug, I'd even be willing to do that. So thank you all for your time. I hope you are enjoying the content as it rolls out, and just know that I appreciate you all, and we will see you Wednesday.